Today we are out at a place called Jackass Flats. It is a popular camping spot for locals and off-roaders. Over there behind my shoulder, there's a hill with a burro on top of it. It's a statue of a burro, hence the name Jackass Flats. We are going to endeavor to make it to a mine with many different names. As you can see, I got my adventure pants on. We're ready for adventure. We are out on the big girl. One bag Wendy. I'm trying a new thing out. I've got a one-sided saddle bag with her. Need a little bit of extra capacity and not have to dig through things. And we are going to head out into the desert to find our mine. that was a lot of fun, about as much fun as a homeless fight down at the Dollar General. Now, when your town only has one stoplight, one Dollar General, and well, that was about as much fun as watching a homeless fight down at the Dollar General. Now, my town's only got one stoplight, one Dollar General, and one Family Dollar, and that's high living right there. So we look forward to a little excitement every once in a while. Anyway, the road was in really good shape comparatively to times that I've been here in the past. I have not done this particular location in about 7 years, so I'd like to come back and take a look around and see how it's fared. It's really, over the years that I've been out here, 25 or so, it's fared fairly well compared to a lot of the other ones. So I'm hoping for good things here. But this is the mine of many names. The correct name, I believe, is the Anderson Mill. It's also known as the Anderson Brothers Mill, which we'll get to that soon. It is also known as Cadillac Mine, Anderson Mine, and the Rube Goldberg Mine, which is my personal favorite. Well, it is so cold this morning. It's in the 30s that even the cows that are out here free range are serving up soft serve ice cream. So you can see, if you are aware of who Rube Goldberg was, the connection to that. There's just a menagerie of machinery. It's almost post-apocalyptic art. But this all had a function, and I'll try to guess at some of it anyway. We're going to jump down below and take a look at that first little shed down there. It's got some significance. So this little shed behind me was very important to this operation. Inside of it, and I'll show you the motor mounts here. Inside of it was a hit and miss motor, and that would have run a well pump down the wash a little ways. Down there you can see there's a little rock structure. Well, that's where they would pump out water across the wash and then up the hill to the top of the operation, so you had gravity bringing it back down. This would wash the ore and anything else that they were, what they needed water for, cleaning stuff out, things like that. This was a very advantageous location for a mine operation. Having well water was something quite rare in Arizona. But this little lean-to really housed some important equipment. This motor mount here was a hit and miss motor. As I said, it would help them get water out of the wash down there, and it also ran operations here. So there would be a belt, and if it's still here, we'll be able to see it up above, and that would help run conveyors and a trommel. We'll see that up at the top up there. But this was definitely quite an operation. They actually stored water here. I don't know if that was for water storage or if it was for slurry storage, whatever. But that was 2 barrels there, and I think there used to be another tank at the top. Oh, there it is. That line I showed you that went across the wash, it went to that water storage tank. I am once again mountain goating it in motocross boots. I'd carry some hiking boots. However, I know some guys like to keep everything they own on the bike plus their mama's dowry. But I like to keep my bike as light as possible, especially seeing as how it's 500 pounds. There's not an immense history on this mine. Apparently, somewhere in the 20s or 30s, the Anderson brothers came out here, and this is an entire mining district. You can find mines off of just about any trail out here. However, the Anderson brothers were out here, And this mine was a mica mine. Mica was used for electrical insulation and transformers, a myriad of things, paint. It was mixed into paint, and as I recall as a child, the house I grew up in, it was used for home insulation. So the pellets would be put in like an attic space and filled in because it could fill in all the nooks and crannies, if you will. I remember when we pulled the ceiling down, there was all this little pellets of what I believe was mica, and we had to get rid of that. But I believe that's what was mined here. You can look, whip out your Google and look up what mica looks like. So one of the misnomers about mining in those days, and even today, was that the mine was for something specific, and the direct intention of this mine was for mica. However, they did, when they ran across other minerals, they were separated, salvaged away, and the ore sold for profit there. I know of a strip mine in southern Arizona near the Ajo area that the intention of that mine was lead, if I'm not mistaken. However, the silver and gold that they found there paid for daily operations, and all the actual mining ore that they pulled out of there was paid for just about by that. So one key thing here, and it'll kind of, one key thing here is this was a key thing to this operation, and where it was shut down was in the 1940s during World War II. Roosevelt put in a stop work order for any unnecessary operations. It would seem silly to me, but maybe the operation just wasn't big enough, that this was shut down under that stop work order for all unnecessary operations. However, it picked up again after World War II, and we'll explain on our way through the mill. So what you're looking at here is the bottom of the ore chutes. And the ore chutes will go all the way up there, and one or two of them here, I think you've had a waste ore, and then your money ore would be on this side or something. But everything here that you see is obtainium, and I'm assuming that after World War II, a lot of obtainium was found everywhere, including, if you look at that structure right there that's retaining some gobbing from the mine, that is military aircraft runway material. So that's interlocking material that they would make runways with during World War II, so they could take any surface, put that down, you have a smooth surface to take off and take off from. But everything here is, nearly everything here was made from something else. We've got a cog of some type right here that was repurposed, the base of this concrete. This may have been some type of a ball mill, smashing mill, to bust up the ore before it went out onto the trucks. Here's something that I found that I didn't see before. It may have been better hidden under this bush when it was younger, but this is the belt that ran everything. You can see it's coiled up, and this would run off of that hit and miss motor up here to this belt, and that belt going up to the top of the head frame and ran the trommel that we will see, and I'll explain that when we get up there. But everything here, you can tell by the cutoffs, they did as minimal work as possible to save labor and money. And obviously you can see the welding here is not a stack of dimes. All of this is repurposed pipe, angle iron, like I said, that runway platform. All these beams, the way they're hacked off, they have different holes in them, were all obtainium from somewhere. You can look at the pipe up there, and like I mentioned earlier, water was critical to this operation and piped to the top of the hill and pushed around. If you can see that plate metal up there, right behind that pipe, there are hot rivets. My assumption is that was a pressure vessel or a boiler of some type at one time, and it's used now, or used by them then, as buffer against the hill coming down. I'm kind of perplexed as to really what this was. It looks like some type of a ram system. So that's the cylinder, and there's like a piston in there. I'm guessing that this would maybe be some type of a ore smasher. This is not a wheel because it is welded to a piece of flat stock on the bottom. So really, I mean, like I said, some of this is almost like post-apocalyptic art. All right, let's take a walk up the stairs and see what we can find above. I'm going to be careful. I'm assuming the cooler temperatures. This place is infested with hornets or wasps, and they have been known to attack people. So I'm going to listen for buzzing. I hate to keep harping on reuse of items, but you can tell this was a shaft at one time. See these gears on here? That was definitely something other than a support post, which it is now. So every space here almost has a purpose, and part of that is the stairs we just walked up on. There's a sluice right there. It comes down under the structure, but it's kind of covered up right now. But that little box there used to be the sluice that used to take it all the way down to the bottom of the stairs. I'm always amazed at the level of concrete in these mines. In the day, even in the 1940s, this was a pretty remote area, and getting concrete, even today, is 10 miles off the pavement to this location would be quite a feat. So here you can get a little better view of that belt system, and it's like a 10-inch belt, rubber and some type of fiber that would come up here and run all these systems. And the more you look around in this place, the more you see. Just as I was coming up, there's a little half walkway that goes across that way, like a little catwalk made into the concrete with little steps going up there. I mean, everything was thought of. It's amazing about the engineering that went into this place. It's really crazy to think that someone had the engineering ability to not only think of all the processes in this place, but take reused material and incorporate them into that. Someone had to be pretty smart, smarter than this old man, to figure that out. This is yet another ore chute. And I've visited a lot of mines, and I can usually figure out what the structures are. But we got 3 different ore chutes here. Now, I don't think it's 3 different types of material. Like I said, if they found other more ore types, they would separate them out and use them. I don't think there would be enough to incorporate a major system into your facility. So this all has to do with mica processing. So this is a mica mill. And really, it's kind of duplicitous there because it was a mine. The mine was here. Typically, you don't see in this size of operation, a mill right at the mine site, but that's what they had. Okay, I'm going to attempt to get up this loose and rocky hill. If I can get my axe handle wide butt up there, I will show you around a little bit more. My apologies, that is not the wind you hear. That is the heavy breathing coming from me. Just to give you some perspective on how high we are, right down there is the bike. We're about 40 or 50 feet above the wash level. Miners always use gravity as much as they can versus mechanical operations, because mechanical operations require maintenance and fuel, and those were tough to come by, and time was valuable. So behind me at the top would have been where the ore would have been, and they would have loaded in the top of the machine, processed it on its way down the hill, again using gravity and some mechanical means, and the process would be complete, loaded on a truck and taken away. You have to be very careful here. It's not like Disneyland. There's no handrails, and that's a pretty precipitous drop. I know the camera doesn't do these things justice, but you may not drop straight down, but your ride would not be fun. So this is the top of the operation. I mentioned it a few times. This is the trommel. The trommel is the first real step in processing the ore that came out of the ground. It's kind of a clarifier. It would rotate and drop out specifically sized pieces of ore. Larger pieces would be dumped out and wasted down a chute, a waste chute, I guess you would say, not the ore chute. At the top, and again, I am as close as I can get. There used to be a walk, a real sketchy walk to get out there. I wouldn't have gone on it if it was here anyway. Looks like it has met its demise. But through that tree, you'll see a wheel up there, and that a pulley, and that would be part of that belt system. So the top of the belt system is just under the trommel. There would be another belt that would come up here somehow and connect to that, and that would spin that pulley and then rotate by gears this trommel. Again, with the reused material, you can see the perforations in that. That's actually a solid piece of pipe. It's welded on the ends with a flange, and all those perforations were drilled into that piece of metal, probably a piece of pipe, a light gauge piece of pipe or something. In addition to the trommel, you've got a belt system down here that would be a conveyor. That looks like some type of conveyor system that would probably run the waste rock or the ore into one of these chutes. So I'm not out there with you, but that's what it looks like down in between all of this, these walls. I don't know what's down there. I've never been in there. It's a little bit of a sketchy area. I've got you out on the selfie stick extended, so hopefully you can see something. So I'm going to head back down the hill. I'm going to take the easy way, which takes a little bit longer, and I'll meet you at the bottom. One note along my way here, I apologize for less than quality audio if that has occurred, and the lack of onboard communication during my ride in or ride out, but my microphone system has some type of technical error, I will perform a factory reset with a 3-pound sledgehammer when I get home. One thing you may or not be able to see is the shimmering remnants of mica that have been left along this road in. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching. Adios. Look at right there. Right there, it's a piece of leverite. A giant piece of leverite.